This is Richard Hoffman with BWE Firearms, and today we are going to be talking about the Browning High Power. Now everybody's talking about it, and ooh, the Browning High Power, because it's coming out again. Well, it's been out for a long damn time. This one is a P35, which was made by Fabrique Nationale, FN, who's making them again. And I got this one a couple of years ago for a couple $100. I've done some changes to it, and I'm going to do a lot more changes to it. The Browning High Power, designed by John Browning, and it is a 9mm double stack, single feed, semi-auto only trigger, and it's just a joy to shoot. Like most John Browning's guns. Not much to say, you know. You can go to the other channels and get the history. I'm not a big one on the history stuff. But this one I've put a threaded barrel on. So to start taking it apart first, I got to take the thread protector off. Now, with high powers, the barrel is 1/2 inch outside diameter. So when you get a barrel threaded 1/2-28, there is no shoulder here for the suppressor to seat up against. It seats up against the face of the barrel. So you need to have a suppressor that is built, at least the piston part of the suppressor, because you'll need a booster on it. You need it so there is a edge in there, a shelf, where it'll be threaded 1/2 inch or so, and then the shelf. So when the suppressor screws on, it'll be threaded down here, but it'll seat against the face of the barrel. So that's one thing you should know. A lot of suppressors are not set up like that, and so you don't get proper alignment. Okay, to take this gun apart, cock the slide back, engage the slide stop, and of course I've got a Pockmeyer, an old Pockmeyer slide stop. Engage the safety. Slide stop comes down. You push on the pin on this side, it pops out. You take that out. Release the safety. Slide comes off. So let's work on the slide. Recoil spring and guide come out. Lift the barrel up, move it forward. Pull it back, and it comes out. Now, some people have special tools and all this other crap. You don't need that. You need a couple of screwdrivers, a couple of punches. Now, take the firing pin out. Firing pin's right there. Put a punch on it. Move it out till you get it where you can slide that out. Put your finger over it. Slide that plate out. Now these old guns, this firing pin spring is stiff. So if you don't put your finger over that, it will go shooting, and you know, who the hell knows where it's going to go. And if you'll find it again. Okay, next we can take out the trigger bar right there. And I'm not even going to punch that pin out all the way because it's not really necessary to do it. But your trigger bar comes out. Lay that there. Now you can knock your extractor pin out because the trigger bar covers up the extractor pin or the extractor pin hole. So you get that on there. Your extractor pin comes out. Your extractor. And if it behaves, the extractor spring. Slide is now completely stripped. So let's move on to the frame. First, take your grips off, and it's simply taking the 2 grip screws out, one on each side. Take the grip off. And this grip likes to stick a little bit. There we go. All right. Now while we got it on this side, you can take the mag catch out. This is just like a 1911 mag catch. Push it out partially. Turn that screw that's not really a screw. And if you want to take this apart, you don't have to, but you just turn it and it comes out. But to put this back in, you just get the little tab in the slot, put it around. All right, at this point, here's your sear. Go ahead and release your sear. Right here is the pin that holds the sear and kind of holds the front of the ejector. You push that out. Take your sear out. Now, you will need to flip the ejector down to take your safety out. Because there is, where's that little tab? This little tab right there aligns with a notch in the ejector. Take your ejector out and you can see that little notch that it aligns with. Now, then you can just pop your hammer out. Your sear spring comes out. Now the only thing left is the trigger. That punch isn't quite long enough, so there we go. That pin is out. And the trigger pin has a little groove in it that the trigger spring sits in and keeps it from walking out. Now you flip the little trigger piece. And it just rolls around and comes out. Now the trigger comes out like this. And you got to kind of wiggle it and jiggle it, and then it'll come out. Your frame is completely stripped. So, put it back together. Take your trigger, put it up in there, move it back so that opening is aligned. There you go. And it lays in there like that, and then you stand it up. Move your trigger forward, get that in the little slot. Make sure the back end is up high enough. Align your hole. Ah, you little bugger. Eyes aren't what they used to be. That's the punch I need. Make sure that hole's aligned. And drive that in. And your trigger disconnector is all in there. And that is your disconnector. And by the way, I'm not going to take this apart because that spring is under a lot of tension and it goes pew and shit goes flying everywhere. But to get this off, you compress this spring. There's a pin there that you walk the pin out, and then this little collar unscrews. I'm not going to do that. No point in doing that unless you have to change it. So you put the sear spring in first, and then walk your hammer down. There we go. Now it fits. Okay. And you want it laying like this. So that slot is pointing kind of up. Align all that. And the safety pops right in. Then you can lift that up. Take your pin and start your pin. Now, your sear simply lays in there. The small face points up and goes in the slot here. Make sure you get the spring captured. Okay, get that hole aligned. Drive that pin in so it's below the surface on each side, because that's your slide rails. Now at that point the sear should catch the hammer, and it does. You can put your mag catch back in. Mag catch works. Yeah, I want to pick up a nice set of wood grips for this because these are kind of worn out but ugly grips. But there's a lot of things I want to do to this Browning. I want to polish it all up nice and pretty and glue it and everything else. This one, okay, the Browning High Power has a magazine disconnect in it. Well, you can't pull the trigger if there's a magazine in it. And I don't know if you can see it, but it goes right down here in the back of the trigger. And it rubs on the face of the magazine. You can take that and polish those up. Polish the face of your magazine up, and it will help improve the trigger pull. I personally don't like magazine disconnects, and I take them out of my guns. Because of liability reasons, don't ask me to take them out of your gun, because I won't. I'm not going to sue myself, so I can take them out of my own. Putting the slide back together. Put the extractor spring in its hole. Drop the extractor in. Tap that in. Make sure it's not sticking out too far. Put your sear bar, I think it's called, trigger bar, in. This big end should go towards the rear. There it is. and make sure that pin is driven past the ejector slot. Now that that's in, stick your firing pin spring and pin in. I want to use that punch. Push your firing pin down. And slide your firing pin plate in. Slip your barrel in. Spring. The little loop faces towards the barrel. And get that in a little notch until it clicks in place. I guess we can screw this on now. If my fingers would work, we could. Slide that on. Slide the slide back until you can engage the safety, so it'll hold the. Drop your trigger bar in. Push that down. There you go. That is the Browning High Power. One of my favorite guns. Of course, I'm old school. I like metal and wood. I wish this had wood grips. Now, I don't know if you noticed, but this one I have machined for a stock. And yes, I'm going to register it as a short barrel rifle. And I'm going to put a stock on it, and I'm going to have a suppressor on it, and it looks cool as shit. So, I hope this helped. I hope it was informative. You have a nice day. This is Richard with BWE Firearms, and I hope you like and enjoyed this video and learned something along the way. With this year, 2021, with me getting stage 4 colon cancer, diabetes, and neuropathy in my hands and feet, it's getting harder and harder to work. And I have come to realize my own mortality. Because of that, I realized that if I don't get this information out of my head and into videos or into other people's heads, I will take it to the grave with me, and that does nobody any good at all. If you would, please like, share, subscribe, and comment to the video. It helps me with the algorithms. And if you would like to support my efforts in doing these videos, please go to my website, bwefirearms.com, and in my shopping cart, I have an item in there where you can donate money to my efforts. And 97% of the money will go directly to me doing these videos. 3%, of course, will go to the credit card company. I will, take $1. I will take $1,000. Whatever you feel like donating, I would greatly appreciate it, and it will help me get this stuff done. You have a nice day, and we will see you in the next video.